Hey guys, Dusty here. Today I'm going to break down my first week of somewhat structured training in 2020. We're going to break it down using my Training Peaks account, so let's get right into it. Okay, so this week I think was only about 11 and a half hours of training, so nothing too crazy. I started off my Monday with a Zwift pre-training plan, so this was just a 35-minute fairly easy ride. I was just riding my way through the zones, zone 1, zone 2, zone 3, zone 4, and zone 5, just getting my body ready for some of the somewhat harder efforts coming up later on in the week. I went to the pool this day. I only got 2,000 meters in. It was very busy. So yeah, just 35-40 minutes, pretty easy swimming, no sort of sets, just because there's too many people in the pool. Had a little bit of work to do that day, which consisted of about 2 hours of walking. Now on Tuesday, I did another ride on Zwift, this time 3 by 15 minutes at 250 watts, focusing on a low cadence of between 55 and 60 RPMs. Now this was a pretty easy workout for me. I had 5 minutes rest in between each of the 15-minute intervals, and this was just a strength-focused set. I'm not trying to do any workouts to failure. I'm just trying to get my workout frequency high and just be as consistent as I can be, especially in January as I just gather myself and get back into the motion of actually training for something specifically. So normalized power for the ride ended up being about 223 watts. Later on that day I went to the pool and I did another 2K swim. This time the pool wasn't busy, but I still only did 2K, so I ended up doing some stroke work for this swim, and I did a main set of 24 by 25 meters, and basically what that looked like was 25 meters easy, 25 meters medium, and 25 meters at a hard effort. And I cycled through that a total of 8 times for 24 by 25 meters. And what I tried to do during this main set was maintain the same stroke count no matter if I was doing easy, medium, or hard. So I went really easy on the easy 25s and I went really hard on the hard 25s, and my goal was to hold the same stroke count. So for a lot of us this is going to be really difficult to do, and it's one that I recommend you try. I know I have work down here, but I believe I did all of my work before I did my training sessions, and on Tuesday that was about 3.5 hours of work, all of it straight walking. Alright, going on to Wednesday, I had an early morning swim and I did a main set of 14 by 100. It's a little set I like to call Move the 25s, and basically the 14 by 100 looks like 2 sets of 7 by 100. So I won't get into the specific details in this video on that set, but it's a great one and it's one of my bread and butter sets that I like to do once every couple weeks at least. So that was 3K in about an hour with all the rest. On my way home from the pool, I hit up the track and I thought I ran longer than 32 minutes, but I only ran 32 minutes. And I did a main set of 5 by 1K, just kind of at a medium cruisy type effort, as I like to call it. Each kilometer that I did ranged from 317 to 324, and they felt really easy. I really focused on being smooth and efficient. It's just a short little punchy run back, really focusing on efficient running, and I still got in 5K worth of decent work. Later on that day I just did a little, just over half an hour, little flush out ride on Zwift, and then I worked on Wednesday as well, which was only about an hour of walking. Now we move on to Thursday. Thursday was a little bit busier of a day for me personally, so I couldn't fit in a whole lot of training, so I used it more as a recovery day, and I did an easy 20 minutes over a really hilly route that I live close to, and then I also did about a 25-minute or 1,500 meter easy swim, just some easy swimming and some drills. So not even an hour worth of training on Thursday. Now we move on to Friday. Friday was a little bit bigger of a day. I started my day with an early morning swim where I did 15 by 100 meters descending the rest. So that main set looked like 5 by 100 free, leaving on 1:40, 5 by 100 meters pull, leaving on 1:35, and 5 by 100 with pull buoy and paddles, leaving on 1:30. It's not that difficult of a set. That's another one of my bread and butter sets that I like to have usually faster send-off times than what I did on this day. But like I said, first week back, I'm not about failing anything. I just want to be consistent and get my frequency in. So really happy with that swim. It was about 3K in an hour again. All right, later on that day, I did a hilly 2.5 hours on Zwift. It was almost 4,500 feet of elevation gain. About 2.5 hours of riding. Nothing to write home about. Normalized power of about 193. Saturday I took off, and then on Sunday I was originally planning on doing a long run, but one of my training buddies actually was doing a Zwift time trial race, so I decided why not. It's super early in the year. I am not really sure where my fitness is at, so I set a goal for myself of hopefully being able to hit 300 watts for this race. I think it was about 22K. So here's my file here. I did do a little bit of cooling down after the race, so my numbers are a little bit lower than what was actually recorded in the race. So average power is 273 watts. I think I actually put out 285 for the actual event. And I was personally really disappointed with that. During my warm-up, I felt great, and in my head, of course, because I have a stupid triathlon syndrome, I just set a number of 300 watts. Even though I haven't been training that much, I thought that's where I need to be at. And in the race, the first 5 minutes felt great, and wheels kind of came off after that. But ultimately, I got in half an hour at 285 watts. I only weigh about 142 to 145 pounds, or about 65 to 67 kilograms, depending on the day. So ultimately, that's pretty good power at my weight, and something that I'm not really disappointed about anymore, but definitely something to look forward to improving, hopefully rather quickly as the weeks progress. And about an hour or two after the race, I just did another easy 30-minute run in the hills again for about 4 miles, or about 6.5K. So like I said before, not a huge week, not super impressive numbers, nothing to write home about. But I was very consistent with my training throughout the week, and that's what I'm going to be all about in 2020. Of course, all of these workouts and volume will progress as the weeks go on, but I'm really trying to keep my frequency up and consistent. So if you're going to take something away from this video, I would recommend that if you're like me and you're just getting back into structured training, try to actually be successful with a low volume training plan before you move on to a medium and high volume training plan. I know a lot of you and myself write out these big lofty goals, and it doesn't matter if you're trying to win a race or complete your first sprint distance. A lot of us will attack our training plans way too aggressively, and we'll either get burnt out or depressed that we can't hit certain numbers. So make a schedule that is actually attainable and something that you can repeat week after week, and then you can start to progress from there. So even though I only had about 11.5 hours of training last week, it's still a progression, and I'm going to use that to springboard me into next week and hopefully have a bigger and better week. So good luck to all of you who are getting back into the swing of things just like me, and I'll see you in the next video.